Hello folks, well it's Boxing Day. I'd have liked to have done this Christmas Day along with the organ video, but I was waiting for these rechargeable batteries to recharge, and it was 24 hours. So how am I going to link all this together? We've got a gramophone record, great hymns from Huddersfield Choral Society, we've got some brackets, we've got 4 rechargeable D cells, and what we haven't got is the record vacuum, the Ronco record vacuum. I mean, it's got to be a load of tosh, hasn't it? So what I want to do is this: put the batteries to one side. It says needs 4 D cells, so that's why we've got 4 D cells. So during the course of the year, Simon from Brick Verks at Holmesfield, what am I on about? Holmesfield's just outside Sheffield. Holmfirth, as in where Nora Batty. Unit 3, Honley, Holmfirth. They have a website, Brick Verks, and they sell Volkswagen motor car spares aimed at the vintage put your T2 together type of thing. But he's also asked me, he's a fellow radio amateur, he asked me over our repeater, because he comes down here to visit a friend quite often, and he comes into range of our repeater and we have a chat. And some time ago he asked me, he'd had inquiries for doing Uniden 100 and Uniden 200 brackets, which of course fit the audio line 314, audio line 341, and fit the Realistic 2000 and Realistic 2001. Well, I had one of those, and so I lent it him, and it went away to be replicated absolutely exactly. So he offers those on his website, and then he ended up having to buy an audio line or a Uniden to get a bracket to replicate that. We hadn't got a bracket, and he sent me 2 as a courtesy, which is very, very kind of him. And then he's also got going into production the Amstrad bracket, so that's also going to fit quite a plethora of the Cybernet 002F chassis sets. I was able to, I'd got a repair in, I was able to photograph it and measure it and all that kind of thing, and hopefully he's got enough information to get that replicated. Well, on his last trip down, he says, I've got a record I'm going to pass on to you, and it's, I think he was saying he lived not far from this kind of scene at one time in his life, in Huddersfield, as you're overlooking the mills, and you've got rows of terrace properties. And the Huddersfield Choral Society, of course, is very well known for being as good as it gets. It's on Decca label, ECSR 2106. And I'm going to play this in its entirety on another, we'll do it on this channel. And of course it will be without any monetization, because otherwise the copyright police will have it. But that's something I want to do. It's not got an inner sleeve, so it doesn't matter how nicely I handle it, that isn't going to be good. What we're going to do right now, without doing any cleaning, we're going to put this on my record turntable. I'll record the first 15 seconds, and I'll probably move it across to another track. I'll see how it works out as we go. And then what I want to do is to put it into the record vacuum, which will make very little difference, and then I want to put it into our ultrasonic cleaner. I've shown that before. I'll probably put a link to that original video. I've slightly altered the way I do it, but the thing remains the same. Right, so I'll go over to the turntable and we'll get this recorded. Right, we're going to have to do this handheld. I've run out of tripods, so just going to play 12 seconds of the third track. I've deliberately not chosen to play the first track because you get a lot of wear as the stylus goes down on the beginning of the record. So it's a fair test if we go into the third track. And what you'll be So hopefully we inserted that bit of track 3. I've not heard that tune to that hymn before. What do they say? It's through the night of doubt and sorrow, yes. Ebenezer, yes, is the tune, Ebenezer. Right, just pop that to one side. You've got to look up some of the adverts for the Ronco record vacuum. I could have nicked them off somebody else's site, but I'm not going to. Hey, you get instructions with this. I paid far too much for this. I paid 20 quid. They weren't that new. Glad we've got a guarantee with it. Anyway, we've got the instructions, adjustments, so if it's a vacuum, where does all the debris go? It's got a drive belt. That could have failed, couldn't it? Right, see what happens when we try putting batteries in it. Well, they're as filthy as can be. It's just not that they've had batteries in it, it's just being stored damp. I probably end up with the angle grinder on these. So those two are that way. Well, that was a silly thing to do, wasn't it? Those two are that way, and those two are the other way. Well, that actually did something. So, let's see what happens. Let's move the camera slightly. Ooh, that feel. Oh, it's fair enough. How long do we put it on for? Half a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 30. Right. Well, we'll go and put it back on the turntable. Well, you know what, it does actually sound better, but we're going to put this through the ultrasonic cleaner. Like I've shown before, I'll try and record some of that. Okay, so we've got this record now in the disco anti-stat device. So this is the small ultrasonic we use for 7-inch singles. That's the larger one which we use for 10 and 12-inch records. And I can just kind of get that out without touching the record. I've just run it through a few times. We've got the centre thing in, which is available separately on eBay. If you don't want to buy the anti-stat system, you can just buy those things to protect it. There's an arrow on one side, so we know I've put it in its side one. I'm just going to put it in into the fluid like that. No, and we'll put it in for 3 minutes. I'm going to put a weight on top of that, and 3 minutes, and we'll come back. I'll change it over the side. What I'm not going to do is what other people do and have strange spindle mechanisms. I actually want the sound waves to hit this record from underneath, not vertically in. You've seen them all suspend them. Well, that's not what I came up with in my late father. I've probably said it before. My dear dad was a doctor of chemistry, so he actually concocted the system we use. So we'll come back to this after I've got it out and put it in this the disco anti-stat thing again. Okay, so there we are now with it back out of the fluid, and I've just run it around a couple of times in the disco anti-stat device. And now all I've got to do is extract it and take the protectors off. Where to put the camcorder and do it one-handed. I know when I did the other demonstration I dropped the record. So what we've got now, I've got it in this drying rack. It's that end one, so it's still wet. There is a heater in this room which I've put on, and we'll come back to this in half an hour and play it. Okay, so the record's back on the turntable and it certainly looks cleaner, so we will switch on. This is a live test, as in I haven't played with it previously, so let's see what happens. Now we've got some distortion, so here's the question: is the stylus dirty, which I didn't clean between the last time and this? So I'll just put the camcorder down. Right, well there we have it. So a bit of silliness, a record that's now as clean as we're going to get it. So we'll put that away, and I'll try and get that recorded tomorrow. Maybe of interest to people other than me. Even nicer if I could get it in its sleeve. That needs gluing back together, which is what's not helping there. So thank you for watching our silly presentation of a record vacuum and the Huddersfield Choral Society record, kindly donated by Simon. Thanks for watching.